It's a day that the world has anticipated for many, many months, years really, which is the Powell pivot. Of course, that's when he declared that, by gum, enough of this higher interest rates nonsense. We're going to go back to cutting rates. And I listened to his speech, which was basically three parts. One was kind of a history lesson. Two was praise for himself and for his 7,000 employees who attempt to control the economy. And the third part was kind of taking blame for letting inflation out of the bag, but quickly making clear that everybody in the world was all aboard the good ship transitory, which I guess he thought was cute. In any case, the market rallied massively, lifetime highs all over the place. The bulls felt victory. Here we go. And it's already starting to unwind. I've been waiting for the Powell pivot for a very long time. This will begin the end because the narrative is as simple as can be from how they're saying it. Their thought is, hey, everybody, equities are really cheap now. We're going to start cutting rates, and as we do, stocks will just go higher and higher and higher and higher. Won't that be spiffy? The truth, I believe, is that the economy is already in a recession. And when it becomes evident, when like months from now, the government finally admits that the recession will get worse and worse and worse, and the Fed will naturally cut rates in order to spur on the economy. And it won't work. That is their only tool. I mean, of course, they could print trillions more and so forth. They've done all that. It's like, how badly do they want inflation to get out of the bag? Because they have tacitly made clear that, and forget the 2% inflation, 3 is fine or whatever. Inflation's fine. We've got to cut rates. The political pressure is too high. So the Powell pivot is there, and they're going to start dropping rates, and I suspect they'll drop them a lot, which is why I'm so bullish on bonds and so bullish on precious metals, because inflation's going to go crazy. This will become worth less and less, and things like this will become worth more and more. I don't know if the camera shows that. Precious metals are going to do great. Currency is going to become one-ply toilet paper. So the bulls are thrilled to pieces about the Powell pivot because they think we're going to go from Dow 41,000 to Dow 90,000. Yeah, I don't tend to agree with that. Here is the spider. In spite of the rhetoric about how peachy keen things are, please take note of a few things. 1, we have not made lifetime highs. 2, we have failed a crucial trend line. 3, day after day after day after day after day after day, it tries to get above that trend line again, and it is failing to do so. That represents strong resistance. The diamonds on an intraday basis were at a lifetime high today. Great, they come, the harder they fall. I don't trade diamonds myself these days. It's too robust. I'm more into the whole tech world, but it's of note that the diamonds tagged, and the Dow 30 obviously tagged a new lifetime high. Small caps were exceptionally strong on Friday. You can see this massive green bar. They are up still today. The RTY at the moment is up 6.9. Looking a little tired up here, and it's in the vicinity of its own lifetime high. But of course, this is all post-pivot prices. It's not even matching the prices that it set weeks ago, back at the end of July. You can see this kind of an upside down fashion by way of, I usually don't mess around with leverage instruments, but you know what? I went into this one today. I bought a bunch of TWMD ultra short on the Russell, and we're way down here, near lifetime lows on this. And jumping overseas, EM, emerging markets, they basically undone what happened on Friday. We're near Friday's lows right now on this, and it would seem to me that this tremendous rally is probably just about done. Now, as I said, I'm really into tech, the whole tech thing, because that seems to be most vulnerable in this market. XLK is a tech ETF, and there's some things to note here. And I have to emphasize, this is post-Powell pivot. We're nowhere near lifetime highs. We're nowhere near closing this gap, and may never get closed. And even with the pivot, we're not even near the highs from Thursday. All of Friday's activity right there. All the bluster and all the patting himself on the back and the praise for the Fed and on and on and on. And the news of the pivot and the embracing of inflation, just inflation be damned, we're going to cut rates. It never traded above Thursday. So that's interesting. A little better known here, the cubes, same deal. Gap not closed, nowhere near lifetime highs. No activity on Friday beating Thursdays. We're red now. At the moment, we're down triple digits on the NQ, almost 200 on the NQ with Powell's help. And as I said, with the TWM, there's of course an ultra short on the NASDAQ also. I call it the QUID, the QID. That to me is kind of the support level right down there, which is where this gap is located. We had a hard reversal up on this on Thursday. Inside day on Friday, and then just doing pretty good. today with that tech weakness. Nvidia. As you probably know, I hope, Wednesday after the close, they announce earnings. That is probably more important than like Apple and Amazon and Google combined, and Microsoft. It has an enormous psychological impact, not only because they freakishly are waiting till this long to bother reporting their earnings, but because it's Nvidia. It's a $3.2 trillion company. It is the king of kings and host of hosts when it comes to AI. I have no position. I have no intention of getting a position. I, of course, would be delighted if they went plunging, but I ain't banking on it. They could be full of surprises. So I have really no opinion on this. I've got a wish, but not an opinion. I will say, as your resident chartist, that we still have lower highs intact. This was the peak. Here was the lower high. We still have a lower high here. So yeah, I really don't. There will be no ha-has on Thursday morning if this thing's up 50 points. I don't have a strong opinion on it. It would just be neat if it did fall post earnings, but that is going to be a very big deal. The semiconductor sector isn't exactly screaming bullishness right now. If you look at other stuff besides Nvidia, we have ARM Holdings here. That's turning away from that dashed red line that you see. We have Micron, which turned away hard from its own top that I've tinted in pink there. AMD, which is a P of like 540 right now. This is a sloppy chart, but it did break this major trend line, which is a bit of a tell. We pushed higher here and we're starting to fade away. It's like I say, it's a mess of a chart. And Intel tries to get up off the map, but it's still kind of grinding away down here. I've seen people enthusiastic about Intel. They're kind of wrapping it in patriotism, saying like, yay, USA chips. Okay, but the chart's just a wreck. I suppose it seems cheap based upon the dreadful nature of the price over the past few years, but it's really inconsequential. I mean, I don't know what percentage of SMH Intel constitutes, but it's probably like low single digits. I'll also mention, this will be the last leverage one I show you. I think this is the triple bearish leveraged on semiconductor, XOXS, and it's having a good day. It's up about 7%. I actually did a post on Friday, buy XOXS, which seemed insane, but it's working out. It's working out. This is doing pretty good. And of course, if Nvidia shocks to the downside, then it'll do splendidly on Thursday. But again, no strong opinion. Adjunct to this, of course, the likes of SMCI are completely at the mercy of what Nvidia does. SMCI is a beautiful chart. It actually peaked way back here on the 16th. It's been lower ever since, just kind of grinding away. And today it's kind of given up the ghost. It's down almost $50 below that right triangle that I've pointed out a few thousand times. That is a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful chart. I would not be completely shocked if it plunged all the way down to this level in the medium term. But again, very Nvidia dependent. Never have I seen one stock so powerful in the market as a whole. And, not just semiconductors, not just server companies, but the NASDAQ in general just seems very vulnerable these days, even with all this good news. Here's Amazon in the red. Here's Microsoft in the red. These are the mega caps. These are the multi-trillion-dollar firms. Here's Alphabet. It's green right now, but it's below this nice topping pattern. This one's down nicely, almost $8, turning away hard from the peak it had, a lifetime peak it had just a couple of days ago. So turning our attention to gold a bit, our friends in precious metals. Here's GLD up, just my typical thing here. Long-term bullish, medium term, maybe bullish, I don't know, short term, very skittish about this. It's gone a long way really fast. So if it slips, it's got plenty of room to slip without going bearish, certainly, but it's got a lot to digest there, or it might not even bother. If you look at something like this, which is gold divided by US dollar index, it's fantastic. It's spectacular. It's poised for rocket ship. So yeah, precious metals might not bother digesting anything. Silver certainly looks like it needs to ease back a bit. It's had a weaker rally than gold over the past few months. You can see the lower highs is still intact here, but I can't say it enough. Long term, measured in months and years, I think precious metals are going to be just fine. Relatedly, DBC has had a big bounce the past couple of days, largely because of oil. It too is below a major top. You can see this giant pink top. Look where we are now. All we've done is go back to the bottom of that. So that's probably just about shot. IYR, haven't looked at this in a while. Fibonacci friendly to the nth degree. We are right at the fib right now. Another good sign of a very extended rally. And likewise, XHB, this is way at the top of that multi-decade channel. So long term, looks like a great price point.